Hello everyone, this is Anna from Savvy Cat Realty, and today I'm here to talk to you about the new immigration measures and decrees that Portugal recently made. That is obviously very relevant for anyone considering coming to Portugal. So I'm going to talk a bit about which are these measures and my opinion on how impactful I think they may or may not be. So for those of you who do not know, Savvy Cat Realty is a relocation and investment agency that helps expats moving to Portugal. We work from a lifestyle perspective and look to integrate people into locations and communities that are suitable for their ideal life. And this is of course very different for each person. Maybe someone looking to live in the middle of greenery in a village. It may be someone looking to a busy city lifestyle. And we work with all of that and like to emphasize that Portugal has a lot more to offer than just Lisbon, Porto, and the Algarve, and therefore the company works countrywide on continental Portugal. So, regarding today's topics that the decrees issued regarding regulating immigration. So first, a bit of a situation point. There are definitely some concerns regarding immigration in Portugal. Portugal has been becoming an extremely popular destination, both for high-end immigration, but it's also very easy to get in from lower economic realities. So what happens is that we have a huge influx of immigration from poorer countries, and that is generating some social discontent, especially in big cities. So one of the controversial issues has been the fact that some immigrants have been installed in tents among Lisbon. Another very reported fact was some criminal disputes between immigrants in the Porto area and crime related to immigrants in that area too. So obviously there is some social discontent around this, and the government decided to address the matter. So the first thing that they announced was the extension of the manifestation of interest regulation. And I think this makes a lot of sense because the manifestation of interest made it way too easy to come in Portugal without being regularized, without being properly processed. Anyone could just come in with a tourist visa and do a manifestation of interest and just stay with no actual guarantees of anything for both sides. And I think that made no sense. I think there was specific cases where the manifestation of interest could make sense, like for example when they extinguish the non-habitual resident program, and some people had already started the process but weren't already at the point where they had the documentation. And in situations like that where you're kind of in the middle of a process and regulations change, it makes full sense to have something like the manifestation of interest to protect you and allow you to finish the process. But it makes absolutely no sense that anyone and everyone could use it, and that was the case. So personally, I think this is a very good measure. The second thing they announced was to reinforce the capacity of the consular posts and embassies. I also think this is a good measure, as it's generally most of my clients tell me that there are significant delays in the consulate posts when they need to do something. So I do think this is a positive measure and a needed one. The third measure says they are going to prioritize the channels of entry for family reunion, young students, and qualified professionals. I generally think this is a positive measurement too. I have no idea what they mean by prioritizing this. I don't know if people who apply for these kind of visas get taken care faster. They didn't really specify. The situations, for example, with family reunion were getting pretty ridiculous, as we had processes where we had to call staff over 200 times in order to get a booking, and you can imagine this is very slow and time consuming. So I do widely agree with prioritization for this, and also reinforcement of the services. So one of the issues, as you may be aware, is the fact that the SAF was extinguished back in 2020 or 2021, and things have just been on limbo, and they couldn't hire more people because SAF was going extinguished. And then it got to this ridiculous point where they have 400,000 pending processes. So one of the measures that they are making is the resolution of pending irregularities. And once again, that's 400,000 processes. So I'm very curious to see how exactly they're going to do this. And personally, I think that some of these measures are kind of just wishful thinking or wishful announcements that aren't really going to get done. But let's see. I do really hope that something happens, because it really needs to. Measure 5, to intervene in an urgent form in the infrastructure and informatic systems, data control databases and data control, and borders. Fair enough. Once again, lack of organization and lack of staff was definitely a relevant issue. So let's hope they actually take care of that. And they say they are going to implement new systems of control of borders called EES and ETIAS. So hopefully these are the new organisms that will be replacing SAF, and hopefully they will work properly. So let's see. Wait and see. Like we Portuguese usually say whenever anything that comes to related to the public services, it's usually wait and see. So the 7th measure is to mitigate the elevated levels of delays that are verified on the frontiers and airports controls. Once again, yes, that's needed. Let's see how exactly that's going to happen, but definitely needed. Measure 8, to reinforce the mobility accords. So this is related to the Portuguese speaking countries, and to reinforce the capacity to deal with requests related to Portuguese speaking countries. So let's see that too. I don't think that's a big issue, to be honest, as a very, very big part of immigration is from Portuguese speaking countries, but let's see. 9th measure is to confirm and execute the compromises and promises of reintegration and relocation of international protection. It's not protection. How do I translate that? Asylum seekers. We also have here to increase the capacity of the spaces designed to deal with as temporary installations for asylum seekers. So, and to build new centers of temporary accommodations, ensuring the juridic and social support. Let's see exactly what they do, because they have been saying the same thing about the housing measures and how they are going to build social housing, and actually a bunch of public property. And even I know there is a military installation in Porto that was designated to be turned into social housing. Well, not social housing, but affordable housing. And that was before my father died, and no works have even started. So, like I was saying, I don't have a lot of faith in how much of these measures will actually happen, but they are well intended for sure, and they do make sense so far. Basically, the 13th measure is to ensure the due processing of juridic recourses and immigration and asylum. And the 14th is to guarantee efficiency and to unify the competences on the police force. Let's see. Again, I confess I am not particularly inclined to think that these measures are going to be implemented in a swift and effective way, but generally they are positive. They also are announcing that they're going to create a task force for fiscalization and combat of human trafficking and abuses related to immigration and labor export and import, also the violation of human rights, and to audit the processes of and the 16th is to audit the processes of linguistic evaluation for the obtenance of Portuguese nationality, which is interesting. I don't think they took those Portuguese tests very seriously. Maybe they will start taking it a bit more seriously, but these tests are only for once you apply to citizenship. So after you've been in Portugal 5 years, it's not for the start of the visa. So do keep that in mind. So measure 17 is to create a system to attract human capital aligned with the necessities of the country. Once again, very vague. The 18th is to improve the process of recognition of qualifications and competencies. I'm pretty sure this is related to converting a university and degrees, as that is an issue, especially for countries outside of the European Union. So that is, once again, something that would be very positive. The 19th measure is to promote the formation of professionals and capacitation of foreign citizens. The 20th measure is to make a study regarding the labor necessities and align the search and offer of employment to foreign citizens. 21st measure is to promote and attract the foreign students to sign up into Portuguese superior education institutes. That's pretty much it. And then the next section is related to humanitarian rights. It is the 22nd measure is to increase the asylum refugee slots in the camps. It's not really, they call it the centro de acolhimento, but basically the protection houses, I suppose. So basically they want to increase the capacity and the ability to take in asylum seekers. And in the same way, they also want to increase the capacity of unities for youth asylum and rehabilitation of situations of youth endangerment. The 24th measure is to increase the capacity of lodging, temporary lodging for immigrants, immigrant refugee, and international protection beneficiaries. And the 25th is to promote the professional integration of immigrants in the national job market. The 26th is basically the same thing, to create local municipal lodging centers in cooperation with the municipalities. The 27th is to implement projects of integration in critical social neighborhoods, once again in coordination with the municipalities. They also say the 28th measure is that they want to increase the coverage and offer of Portuguese being taught as a non-maternal language in the Portuguese public schools. The 29th is to allow in multilinguistic materials in the public schools, including functional Portuguese. So once again, to help the integration of children of immigrants in the public education system. The 30th measure is to simplify the process of concession of equivalences in the basic teaching, so before university. The 31st is to promote and manage the access of immigrants to the National Health Service. The 22nd measurement is to create instruments of channeling capital, private capital, for investment in social projects and integration of immigrants. And for this one, they created a new golden visa. So I don't usually talk about this, but the golden visa didn't fully disappear. There are a number of modules of the golden visa that disappeared, namely real estate investment. That is what I worked with, but it's still possible to invest by creating a Portuguese company that creates more than 10 job posts, to finance local researchers and to finance local funds. And now they created this offer that basically is to charity. And if you donate 250,000 or more into housing and integration projects for immigrants, you get a golden visa. This is basically a charity visa. You don't get that money back at any time. It's basically, you just give it for the visa and that's it. And do keep in mind that among those 400,000 pending projects, pending processes, many of them are golden visas. I have clients that made their golden visa investment in 2022, in the early 2022, and are still waiting for it. Basically, a lot of golden visa requesters are getting together and suing the Portuguese government for the ridiculous delays in handling the said visas. So do take that into consideration before considering these kinds of investments. So the 38th measure is to create an unity of foreigners and borders in the PSP. The PSP is the Public Security Police. The 34th measure is to restructure the competencies and internal organization of AIMA, and that is the new immigration agency. That is Agência para a Integração e Migração e Asilo. So that's supposedly the new SAF. Let's see how that goes. The 36th measure is to transfer the competencies of in-person support and renewal requests from the ERN to the AIMA. So basically, once SEF was extinguished, these processes were kind of transferred, like we say here in Portugal, em cima do joelho. So that means last minute and not very organizedly, to the IRN, that is the Register Institute, and now they're going to be transferred to the AIMA, that is the new immigration agency. The 37th measure is the enlargement of the presential support service for the immigrant citizen for the request of the identifiers like NIF, NISS, and NNU. The 38th measure is to restitute the observation of migrations, while the organism of the state, actually this is a nice one, so basically to return the statistic and observation of migration sector back to the public information sector, because apparently it was made private, which made a lot of sense. No, it didn't. So once again, this is about the new AIMA to redefine and automate the Council for Migration and Asylum as a government organ. So once again, same thing. That's the 39th. The 40th measure is to reinforce the financial support to associations of immigrants and civil societies that operate in the sector. Once again, a bit repetitive, same thing as before. And the 41st measure, which I think it's the last one, is to reinforce the response of proximity through the local centers of support to integration of migrants, which are going to be called CLAIM. So those are the 41st proposed measurements to aid and resolve the immigration issues in Portugal. I do think they are generally positive. Some of them are long overdue. As you probably noticed, I am not too hopeful on the due resolution of these issues, but hopefully we made a step forward in the right direction. And like it is said, let's wait for the next developments. But yes, overall positive things and things that definitely needed to be addressed. I hope this was clarifying. I know I was reading from the announcements, as there were a lot of them, and I was kind of translating on the spot, but hopefully it wasn't confusing and it went over everything. So if you are considering immigrating and moving to Portugal, feel free to reach out to us at contact@savvycatrealty.com. You can always check the way we operate and a lot of free information we have on our blog and our website in www.savvycatrealty.com. And we release weekly videos with useful information for anyone either leaving or considering relocation to Portugal here on YouTube. So feel free to subscribe for your weekly news. So I hope this was helpful. I would love to hear your thoughts on this whole ordeal, and I will see you all next week. Bye.